Some coins look ordinary, but their value is anything but ordinary. The French 20 centimes coins from 1979, 1984, and 1988 were once used for small everyday purchases. But today, collectors are hunting for them like hidden treasure. Why? Because certain rare mint errors, limited strikes, and historical changes have turned some of these simple coins into pieces that could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So before you walk past that old jar of coins in your house, stay with me, because the next tiny coin you find might be the one that changes everything. Welcome back to Numis Explorer. In 1982, deep within the heart of France's historic Monnaie de Paris mint, a small yet remarkable coin was struck, the French 5 centimes 1982. At first glance, it looked like an ordinary bronze aluminum coin, used in everyday purchases, from morning baguettes to evening newspapers. But hidden behind its simple appearance lies a fascinating story that many coin collectors still do not know. The coin proudly displays the motto Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité, a national promise of freedom, equality, and brotherhood that shaped the destiny of the French people. On one side, you find the portrait of Marianne, the symbol of the French Republic, a woman who represents strength, liberty, and revolution. On the other side, wheat and oak leaves symbolize prosperity and endurance, a reminder of a nation that survived wars, revolutions, and changing monarchs. But what makes this coin even more intriguing is the year, 1982, a year when France was undergoing economic reforms, political shifts, and a transformation toward modern Europe. Millions of these coins were minted, yet only a few remain in high-grade condition today, and some rare mint errors could be worth far more than anyone expects. Many collectors remain unaware that the 5 centimes 1982 belongs to the last era of a currency that would soon disappear forever. Just a few decades later, France would adopt the euro, making the French franc system obsolete. This turned once ordinary pocket change into historical artifacts. Imagine an old wooden drawer in a Parisian home, untouched for years, suddenly revealing a shining 5 centimes 1982, possibly uncirculated, preserved like a fragment of time. Some coins escaped regular circulation and were kept as souvenirs, while others developed rare striking errors such as off-center strikes, doubled letters, or planchet flaws. These mysterious variations are the reason certain pieces of this coin are highly sought after in auctions. Some coin experts claim that the perfect high-grade specimen, especially an MS condition example, could surprise collectors with values far beyond the coin's original face value. Suspense grows when you realize that someone, somewhere, may still hold a rare version of this coin without ever knowing what treasure rests in their hands. The story becomes even more captivating when we explore what was happening in France in 1982. The country was adjusting to new social and economic policies. Technology was advancing, and international trade was changing rapidly. This tiny 5 centimes coin passed through the hands of bakers, shopkeepers, school children, and travelers exploring the streets of Paris, Lyon, Marseille, and Bordeaux. Each fingerprint left on its surface was part of a larger untold story. Some of these coins might have been present during historical celebrations, national events, and even protests. Imagine a coin falling into a metro station beneath the Eiffel Tower, staying buried under dust for decades, only to be discovered by a metal detector enthusiast. Its value instantly transformed by its untouched condition and mysterious silence. What secrets could it tell if it had a voice? What journeys did it take through markets, pockets, and generations? Today, the 5 centimes 1982 coin stands not just as a former piece of currency, but as a silent witness of French history. Collectors across the world search for it, hoping to find a rare mint state version, a hidden error coin, or simply a piece of the past. Some people claim to have found these coins at flea markets, garage sales, antique shops, or family coin boxes kept hidden for years. Could one of these coins be hiding in your home? Could you unknowingly hold a rare 1982 coin that might become valuable in the future? The suspense continues because nobody knows how many perfect pieces still exist, preserved by time and luck. And as the number of surviving specimens decreases, interest from collectors increases, turning this once common French coin into a potential treasure. So next time you come across a small old coin, especially a 5 centimes from 1982, look closely. You might be holding history, mystery, and hidden value all at once. In 1992, The French mint, known as Monnaie de Paris, struck one of the last generations of France's iconic 5 centimes coins, a small piece of metal destined to become a historical collectible. This coin, though tiny in size, carries a monumental story tied to a transforming era of European history. The obverse of the coin features the elegant symbol of the French Republic, Marianne, a national emblem of liberty, revolution, and the unbreakable spirit of the French people. Alongside her portrait, the nation's powerful motto stands proudly, Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité. On the reverse side, delicate engravings of wheat and oak leaves represent prosperity, tradition, and the agricultural lifeblood of France. But beneath these design elements lies a deeper mystery that collectors continue to investigate. Why certain 1992 5 centimes coins have become so difficult to find in high-grade condition today. Many believe a large amount of these coins were melted or withdrawn from circulation early, making some surviving examples unexpectedly rare. Every time one appears in an auction or a collector's showcase, it sparks curiosity and excitement, as though a forgotten fragment of France's last days of the franc currency has resurfaced. Waiting to reveal the secrets it has carried for decades, as Europe moved toward a single unified currency, discussions about the upcoming euro were growing stronger in 1992. France, one of the leading nations in the economic transition, was slowly preparing for a monetary shift that would change the continent forever. The 5 centimes 1992 coin, unknowingly, was circulating during the countdown to the end of an era, becoming one of the symbolic final breaths of the French franc, a currency that had survived monarchies, revolutions, empires, and world wars. This coin passed through the pockets of ordinary families, travelers, students, and merchants who had no idea that these small bronze-colored pieces would soon vanish from daily transactions. It may have been used to buy a fresh croissant in a Paris bakery, or exchanged on the busy streets of Marseille, or perhaps it dropped unnoticed beneath a café table near the Eiffel Tower. But imagine the suspense. Somewhere, in a forgotten box, a drawer, or an old wallet, a perfectly preserved 1992 5 centimes coin might still be lying untouched, its value unknown even to the person who owns it. The most intriguing part of the story arises when collectors discuss possible minting variations or errors associated with this coin. Some reports claim that a few 1992 5 centimes pieces show unusual striking marks, minor off-center patterns, doubled lettering, or planchet defects, features that can increase a coin's desirability and market value significantly. While the French mint has never officially confirmed the number of such error coins, their rumored existence fuels the hunt among coin enthusiasts. A mysterious detail adds more suspense. Despite millions of these coins being minted, very few appear in near-perfect mint state, MS, grades today. This raises a compelling question: were large quantities removed from circulation prematurely, or did the metal composition degrade faster than expected due to environmental exposure? Some numismatists believe that as France progressed toward full euro adoption, older centime coins were quietly collected and melted, turning what was once everyday change into rare historical survivors. The idea that your coin collection, a family coin jar, or even a flea market stall might contain one of these elusive pieces continues to inspire treasure seekers around the world. Today, the 1992 French 5 centimes coin is considered more than an old monetary artifact. It is a silent witness of France's economic transformation. The euro officially replaced the French franc in 2002, making these coins relics of a vanished currency system that shaped European trade and history for generations. Collectors now search for them across Europe, North Africa, Canada, the United States, and anywhere French currency once traveled. Prices can vary, but a high-grade or error example can attract strong interest among numismatists who recognize the historical weight it carries. And the suspense continues, because nobody truly knows how many well-preserved examples remain hidden away in private homes or sealed mint bags. So if you ever come across a 1992 5 centimes coin, handle it carefully, observe every detail, and remember that you might be holding a tiny bronze key to a chapter of history that is gone forever, yet waiting to be rediscovered by someone just like you. At first glance, this 10 centimes 1996 French coin may look old, worn out, and even dirty, the kind of coin most people would ignore or toss aside without a second thought. But here is where the real surprise begins, because despite its humble and aged appearance, this coin's market value can be shockingly high, especially if it carries rare minting qualities, unique errors, or remains in extraordinary preserved condition. Struck in the historic Monnaie de Paris Mint, this small golden-toned coin belongs not just to France, but to a dying era of European currency that would eventually disappear forever. The coin features the powerful French motto Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité, a timeless message of freedom, equality, and brotherhood that shaped the French nation over centuries. On one side, the graceful image of Marianne, symbol of the Republic, represents revolution and national pride, while the reverse displays a harmonious design of wheat and olive branches, symbols of prosperity and peace. Millions of these coins passed through countless hands, but what makes the 1996 issue unique is that it came just a few years before the French franc system was replaced by the euro. Many of these coins vanished from circulation, and those that survived began entering the world of private collectors, auctions, and numismatic study, where prices range far beyond their original face value. The suspense around the 10 centimes 1996 coin grows stronger when we look at its place in history. The year 1996 was a turning point in Europe, where political leaders and economists were preparing for the birth of a united European currency. While most citizens still used the familiar French franc in their daily lives, buying croissants in Paris, bus tickets in Lyon, or fresh produce in Marseille, there was a silent countdown underway. Little did they know that in just 6 years, the franc would become obsolete, replaced forever by the euro in 2002. This means that every 10 centimes coin that survived beyond that period is now a physical fragment of a currency system that ended after more than 600 years of tradition. Imagine the journey of one coin traveling through markets, subway stations, schoolyards, and cafes, carrying invisible stories of millions of lives it encountered. Some of these coins were lost in drawers, abandoned in farms, sealed in old wallets, or kept as souvenirs by families unaware that someday collectors might search desperately for them. This is what turns an ordinary-looking coin into a piece of history that becomes rarer with every passing year. Collectors and experts around the world are also drawn to the mystery of mint errors believed to exist in some 1996 pieces. Reports suggest that a limited number of coins may show slight rotations, off-center strikes, planchet cracks, or doubled inscriptions, little imperfections that can transform a forgotten pocket coin into a valuable numismatic treasure. Some claim to have discovered examples with metallic discoloration or unusual surfaces that indicate unrecorded mint anomalies. While official documentation remains limited, the possibility of rare mint errors has driven collectors to inspect these coins carefully under magnification, hoping to uncover something extraordinary. In auctions, a coin with a notable error, particularly in mint state condition, could spark bidding competition and sell for many times more than expected. And that leads to a thrilling question. Could one of these rare examples be lying unnoticed in a jar of old coins, waiting to be discovered by someone who recognizes its hidden value? Today, the 1996 10 centimes coin is no longer seen simply as a piece of currency, but as a silent witness of France's transition into a new financial era. As time passes, fewer of these coins remain in collectible condition, increasing demand among those who treasure European monetary history. Some collectors view it not only as a historical artifact, but as a potential investment, particularly when it comes to well-preserved or rare specimens. This coin represents the end of a remarkable journey, from the early francs of the medieval kingdom to the modern euro of a united Europe. And now, the suspense rests in a simple yet powerful possibility. Someone, somewhere, might unknowingly possess a 1996 10 centimes coin that holds far more value than they ever imagined. So next time you see a worn, dull, or dirty French centime coin, look again, examine it carefully, because you might not just be holding an old coin. You might be holding a hidden fortune, a fragment of history, and a treasure waiting to be discovered. In 1979, a small yet historically powerful coin was produced by the Monnaie de Paris Mint, the French 20 centimes coin, a golden-brown piece of aluminium bronze that silently carried the spirit, struggles, and changing identity of the French nation. This coin, though light in weight, was heavy in meaning. It displayed the iconic motto Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité, a reminder of the French Republic's core values born from revolution and written into the heart of every generation. On the reverse, the graceful image of Marianne appeared, her profile strong and determined, symbolizing liberty and the eternal voice of the French people. Wheat and laurel branches surrounded the design, representing prosperity, honor, and the agricultural roots of France. Yet, Beyond the elegance of its design lies a mystery that many collectors still speak about, because the 1979 20 centimes coin was minted during a crucial turning point in French and European history, a time when financial systems, political visions, and the future of currency were beginning to shift. Millions used these coins for everyday purchases, but few could have imagined that decades later, collectors would search for them like hidden pieces of a lost era. The year 1979 was far from ordinary for France and Europe. It was a decade of economic adjustments, the rise of new alliances, and the foundation stones of what would eventually become the European Union. International trade systems were changing, financial reforms were being discussed, and the seeds of a unified European currency were quietly being planted. While French citizens continued buying baguettes, newspapers, bus tickets, and morning coffee using these 20 centimes coins, a silent countdown had already begun, because in the coming decades, the French franc would no longer exist as the country's currency. No one knew that the coin jingling in their pockets might someday become a collectible item, a reminder of a world before the euro. Imagine a 1979 20 centimes coin passing through the busy markets of Paris, traveling across the wine regions of Bordeaux, or slipping unnoticed into a jacket pocket stored away for years in an attic. Some of these coins left France entirely, carried overseas by tourists and soldiers, eventually ending up in coin shops, forgotten drawers, and flea markets across the world. But the true suspense begins when we explore the possibility of rare mint variations or striking errors in some 1979 coins. Collectors have reported examples showing unusual surface toning, weak strikes, light planchet cracks, and slight misalignments that make certain coins stand out from millions of ordinary strikes. Although official mint documentation is limited, the whispers in numismatic communities raise an exciting possibility. Could there be rare, valuable error coins from 1979 still undiscovered? Some enthusiasts believe that sealed mint bags might still exist in old bank storage, while others suspect that many coins were melted or removed from circulation due to economic policy changes. And this leads to a thrilling question. If countless coins disappeared, then how many high-grade, well-preserved examples are left today? Perhaps only a small fraction, making each surviving coin much more desirable. Today, the 20 centimes 1979 is no longer just a forgotten piece of metal. It is a time capsule, a coin that witnessed the final decades of one of the world's oldest currency systems. When the euro officially replaced the franc in 2002, coins like this one transformed from daily spending change into historical artifacts. Collectors now seek them in auctions, online markets, antique shops, and inherited family collections, and some are willing to pay impressive prices for coins in mint state, MS, or with verified mint errors. The suspense grows because nobody truly knows how many rare examples remain hidden. Maybe one is sitting in a drawer of old foreign coins. Maybe one lies buried under dust in a forgotten wallet. Maybe someone watching your video has one right now, without realizing its value, its history, or the legacy it represents. So the next time you see a French 20 centimes coin from 1979, do not ignore it. Examine it closely, because you might just be holding a small but powerful treasure. A coin that carries the story of a nation, a changing Europe, and a currency that shaped centuries of life, culture, and history. In the year 1984, a small yet historically significant coin was struck at the world-renowned Monnaie de Paris Mint, the French 20 centimes coin, a piece of metal that carried not only economic value, but also the identity, pride, and struggle of a nation shaped through centuries of revolution. At first glance, this coin might seem simple, perhaps even ordinary, with its light golden brassy appearance made from an alloy of aluminium bronze. Yet, hidden beneath its modest look lies a treasure of meaning that many people today still do not realize. The obverse side displays the powerful motto Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité, a promise written into the heart of every French citizen, while the reverse features a design of wheat and laurel branches, symbols of prosperity and honor. And at the center of it all stands Marianne, the eternal symbol of the French Republic, a woman representing liberty and the unbreakable spirit of the people. This 1984 issue belongs to an era when France was experiencing economic challenges, political transformations, and early steps toward what would eventually lead Europe closer to a unified currency. Millions of these coins were used daily in shops, markets, cafes, train stations, and bakeries across Paris, Lyon, Marseille, and beyond, yet only a fraction have survived in collectible condition today, And it is that scarcity which fuels the excitement of collectors. What makes the 1984 20 centimes coin even more fascinating is the timing of its release. It was minted during a decade when France was beginning to modernize its economy and strengthen ties with other European nations, unknowingly marching toward a future where the French franc would be replaced by the euro. In fact, by the early 1990s, the foundations of the euro were being prepared, and the franc, one of the oldest currencies in Europe, was slowly approaching the end of its journey after serving France for more than 600 years. So every 20 centimes coin from this era, especially from 1984, stands as a witness to a changing world. Imagine the stories this coin could tell if it could speak. Perhaps it was used to buy a warm baguette on a foggy morning in Paris, or exchanged for a newspaper reporting world-changing events, or maybe it slipped from a traveler's pocket into the cracks of an old railway platform, waiting decades before anyone noticed it again. Some of these coins traveled across borders, reaching Africa, Canada, Belgium, and even collectors in Asia and the United States, spreading pieces of French culture worldwide. But the suspense grows deeper when collectors discuss the possibility of rare mint errors associated with the 1984 20 centimes coin. A few examples are rumored to show off-center strikes, rotated dies, doubled inscriptions, planchet cracks, and unusual metal toning. Details that can transform a simple coin into an item worth far more than its original face value. Although official records remain limited, auction results and private sales have shown that certain high-grade specimens or unique mint variations have drawn intense interest from numismatists around the world. Some collectors claim that sealed bags of these coins were stored away and forgotten during the shift toward the euro, leaving untouched pieces that may still exist somewhere. Perhaps hidden in old bank vaults, inherited family collections, or flea markets waiting for someone with a sharp eye to discover them. And here lies the mystery. With millions minted, why are beautiful, uncirculated 1984 20 centimes coins now so difficult to find? Were large quantities melted? Were many lost, thrown away, or discarded as worthless after the euro replaced them? Today, the 20 centimes 1984 coin stands as more than just a former piece of currency. It is a fragment of history, a memory frozen in metal. Collectors worldwide search for it not only for its design, but because it represents the last chapters of a currency that shaped generations of French life, from the age of Napoleon to the dawn of modern Europe. Some see it as a long-term investment, especially when preserved in mint state (MS) condition, while others simply value it as a connection to a world that no longer exists. The suspense continues because nobody knows how many rare examples remain hidden, and perhaps someone watching your video may unknowingly have one sitting in a drawer, a coin jar, or a forgotten wallet. And that possibility changes everything, because the next great numismatic discovery might not be buried in the ground or locked in a museum. It might already be in someone's hands, waiting to reveal itself. So the next time you come across a French 20 centimes from 1984, look closely, examine it with patience, because beneath the simple shine of aluminium bronze, you might be holding a treasure, a mystery, and a living piece of French history. In 1988, France produced a coin that may appear small and ordinary at first glance, yet it carries a deep and compelling story. The French 20 centimes minted at the historic Monnaie de Paris Mint. This coin, made from aluminium bronze, has a golden brown tone that once passed from pocket to pocket across markets, cafes, and metro stations throughout France. But hidden behind its everyday use is a legacy connected to centuries of French identity. The coin proudly carries the national motto Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité, a phrase rooted in the French Revolution and still engraved in the heart of every French citizen. At the center of its design stands Marianne, the strong female symbol of liberty, her profile representing courage, democracy, and the unbreakable hope of the Republic. Surrounding her are wheat and laurel branches, symbols of prosperity, peace, and dignity. Yet, what makes the 1988 issue so fascinating is not only its design, but the era it belongs to, an era that was slowly preparing for a historic transformation in European currency. Nobody knew it yet, but the French franc was entering its final chapter before the rise of a new monetary era. By the late 1980s, discussions at the highest political and economic levels of Europe were moving toward what would eventually become the euro currency. The streets of Paris, Lyon, and Marseille were still filled with the familiar sound of franc coins, including the 20 centimes 1988, but behind the scenes a quiet countdown had already begun. France was preparing to take part in a financial union that would change European history forever. Every 20 centimes coin from this period is a witness to the last years of a currency that had existed for more than 600 years. Imagine a single 1988 coin traveling through the hands of a baker selling fresh baguettes, a newspaper vendor near the Eiffel Tower, or a student paying tram fare late at night. Now imagine that same coin disappearing into an old purse in an attic, or falling through a crack beneath a train station platform where it remained hidden for decades. Some of these coins left France entirely, carried by tourists and traders, eventually landing in collections across North Africa, Canada, Pakistan, the US, and beyond. Today, these little brass coins have turned from everyday money into collectible treasures. Collectors are especially drawn to this coin because of the rumored mint variations and striking errors associated with the 1988 production. Some reports mention coins with off-center strikes, doubled lettering, planchet cracks, or unusual metal tones. Details that can transform a common coin into a rare and valuable discovery. Although official mint records are limited, auction listings have occasionally revealed high-grade 1988 coins fetching impressive prices, especially those graded in mint state, MS, or showing unique mint anomalies. Many numismatists believe that some quantities of 1988 coins were later melted or withdrawn from circulation as France prepared for currency modernization, reducing the number of surviving examples. And that creates a thrilling mystery. How many perfect 1988 20 centimes coins remain today? Could sealed mint bags still be locked away in bank storage? Could rare errors be hiding in a drawer or a forgotten box of old foreign coins? The possibility keeps collectors searching, examining every detail under magnification, hoping to uncover the extraordinary. Today, the 20 centimes 1988 is more than just a relic of the French franc. It is a living piece of European monetary history, a silent witness to the end of one era and the dawn of another. When the euro replaced the franc in 2002, coins like this one became artifacts of a world that no longer exists, a world where the rhythms of life were measured in francs and centimes. Now, collectors treasure them not only for potential value, but for the story they carry. Some believe these coins are an investment, especially in high preservation grades or with confirmed mint errors. Others keep them as symbols of a chapter in history that shaped modern Europe. And so, the suspense continues. Somewhere, maybe in a coin jar, a flea market, or a family heirloom box, a rare 20 centimes 1988 could be waiting, undiscovered, unrecognized, holding a value far greater than its original purpose. So the next time you come across a French 20 centimes from the year 1988, do not rush to ignore it. Look closer. Examine the edges, the lettering, the shine or toning, because you might just be holding a piece of hidden history, a story in metal, and perhaps a small treasure waiting to be revealed.